All right, Frankie said it. Now it's Amon-Ra St. Brown's time. He says, relax, guys. Hiring Drew Petzing. Chill out. Trust Dan. Welcome to the Fan Forum Live. You got me, Mark. Hermdo might be in later. I hope so. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. We went live right when this happened. It was pretty raw. It was pretty strange, but we've had some time to think about it. Just want to see what where everybody's head's at. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Fan Forum. Like and subscribe to Hermdo too over on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. Guess what? I got nothing to drink. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. We're excited to be here, still talking about Detroit sports. Obviously, the Pistons are playing right now. They're playing KD and the Houston Rockets. Looks to be neck and neck. It's still too early to decide. But, hey, before we get into that, St. Brown Relax Talk, let's talk about the Pistons being number one in the East. I'm very proud of this team. I think that they've got all the pieces they need right now to put themselves out there as a number one contender in the East. Maybe one trade away from being a serious contender when it comes to a championship. But everybody's got to be super excited about these Pistons right now. Same thing with the Red Wings. We'll talk about them later. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. Amon-Ra St. Brown does a podcast. Obviously, you guys know, with his brother. It is the St. Brown podcast. They don't need enough plugging. They've got tons of views. We don't. Like and subscribe to us. So after the Lions hired Drew Petzing as their new offensive coordinator on Monday, our all-pro wide receiver Amon-Ra shared his reaction to the news and even called out the collective overreaction from Detroit fans on the latest airing of the St. Brown podcast. Yeah, he's never shy on this podcast. His brother is he's definitely not like Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra gives zero fucks, which I don't blame him. That's why we love the guy, honestly. So, and I say this with all positive stuff, right? He's everything the city wants in a player, so we love that. And I actually like him for calling fans out too. He said that Jared Goff and him were made aware of the situation and expressed confidence in the hire. Dan Campbell, I guess, texted them before the news went public, and St. Brown goes, I see Lions fans talking like crazy. Why would we do this? Bro, do you guys have no trust in Dan and the Lions? Do you think they would hire a random dude? Be for real. You think they know what they're doing? They don't do the research. They don't interview. Most of you guys don't know really much about anything about any ball. And you're tweeting about a coach that was hired that you guys don't like because of XYZ. I love Lions fans, but they're so quick to make judgments about who we hired and who did we did this. Just relax, calm down. The whole thing will play out. Just let it play out. Just relax. That's all I got to say. Relax, man. So I thought that was kind of interesting. He was very, very open and very honest about his opinion on this. Now, it doesn't sound like Goff and him were sitting down while they were going through the interviews, but he's right. I mean, right now, I know some of us are kind of sour on the Lions, but I think it is a good opportunity to relax and trust the process, trust Dan. I don't know too many people that were this high on Ben Johnson when we got him. I know you got to think back to that too. We had already struck out with Anthony Lynn, and then what's his face before we got Ben Johnson, right? So I already forgot about him. But you see my point, right? We've kind of really had, and if you break down the history of coordinators, you had Anthony Lynn, and then you went to Ben Johnson. Okay, so Anthony Lynn was brutal. That was a really rough one. But here I'm looking at all offensive coordinators. Let's go back to the little bit of an era. We'll start in like 95. You got Tom Moore. Moore was the offensive coordinator for the Lions in 95-96 season. A total of 2 years. The team made it to the playoff one time and had an 0-1 record under Moore. Sylvester Groom. Groom was the OC from 97 to 2000. a total of 4 years. The team made it to the playoffs 2 times. Maurice Carton. Carton was the offensive coordinator for the Lions in the 02 season. Then we go right into Sherman Lewis. He's 03-04, a total of 2 years. Ted Toliner, right? I don't even remember half of these guys. I'm sure Hitch and Bonewood, but I couldn't remember any. Just kind of insignificant times. So here's when the Lions offensive coordinator gets interesting. 2006, 2007 season, you got Mike Martz, a total of 2 years. Now, I was just watching Jay Cutler on a podcast talk about Mike Martz and how he is a genius, but how he's out there just playing Madden. He said it. He said he came up to this Jay Cutler on the sidelines and he said, all I want you to do is take 7 steps back and release it and hit such and such receiver in such and such area. And he's like, I don't understand that. Why would I do that? He's like, what if he's not there? He's like, well, then it's not your fault. So he's so smart that it's a video game to him, right? Then you got Jim Coletto. He was the offensive coordinator for the Lions in the 08 season. That's the 0-16 season, making him the least successful offensive coordinator in Detroit Lions history, right? So can't get any worse than that. Then we had Scott Linehan, right? Now some bells are starting to ring in people's heads. Scott Linehan was the OC for the Detroit Lions in 2009 to the 2013 season, a total of 5 years. So this is the first time we actually start to see somebody elapse more than 2 years as the OC. And this is in 2009, 2013. So this is your Matt Stafford era. So now we finally have an offensive coordinator who sticks around for 5 years, and that's in Scott Linehan. And all things considered, I think he did a nice job. Joe Lombardi was awful. We had him in the 14-15 season, and he had 2 years. We made it to the playoffs, but I just did not like the Joe Lombardi era of the Lions. And then you slide right into Jim Bob Cooter, baby. Jim Bob Cooter, I think we liked him. We love saying his name, and it's not as funny as it used to be. But 2016 to 2018, a total of 3 years. We made it to the playoffs 1 time in 2016, and we had an 0-1 record under Coach Cooter in playoff games. And then we move over to Darrell Bevell. And this one was, I remember correctly, he came over from the Seahawks. Darrell Bevell was the OC in the 19 to the 20 season, a total of 2 years. Don't really have a lot of lasting memories of Darrell Bevell. Don't know where he is now, but now we're getting close to Lynn, right? So Lynn in the 2021 season was hired. He was 3-13-1, making him the 3rd least successful offensive coordinator in Detroit Lions history. So we've got 1-3 that we've recently just had. The 0-16 season, and then the Anthony Lynn one, which was super recent, right? Which is right when Dan Campbell came out the get-go. So we get rid of Anthony Lynn, which at the time Ben Johnson was still on the roster, and we hire Ben Johnson. He's the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions from 22 to 24, a total of 3 years. He was 36-15-0, making him the most successful offensive coordinator in Detroit Lions history. The team made it to the playoffs 2 times and had a 2-2 record under Coach Johnson in playoff games. John Morton is the offensive coordinator, Detroit Lions. Well, we all know how that worked out. 7 games in, and he was just basically handing out tickets. So, moral of the story is we've had a roller coaster of offensive coordinators in the last couple of years. We've gone from the worst to the 3rd worst to the most successful, and then we went from the most successful to probably the most irrelevant. Sorry, John Morton. And actually not. You're already on the Broncos, so fuck you. He's probably the most irrelevant. Basically, we did not have an offensive coordinator. You can put an asterisk in the 25 season. So I'll leave it at that. All right. So listen here. We got Dr. and the Dude. What's up? What's up, brother? Hey, so your boy Baker Mayfield, I got to bring this up if you're still listening. He was out there talking some shit to Kevin Stefanski, basically telling him, listen, you punk ass bitch. You threw me out of Cleveland you threw me out like I was a piece of trash. I cannot wait to beat the shit out of you and seeing you twice a year. So tell me what you think about that as a Bucs fan now that you're going to be seeing Stefanski, which seems to be Baker Mayfield's rival now. So I'm all about Baker. Fuck Kevin. So Tell me what you think. I know J.J. Watt was on Pat McAfee talking about how excited he is that these like truly hated rivalries are back in football because he said as much as it's nice seeing everybody be friends and swap jerseys, this is needed in a game where you're absolutely just destroying and fighting people. So I just got the Hermdo alert. You know what? Hermdo, I think, needs entrance music. So when he comes on, I think we're gonna start playing some entrance music for Hermdo. Um, all right. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Lions do. When you say it a lot's riding on this, it's funny because you go from, like I said, the third worst to the best to the most irrelevant. What do you do about that? No pun intended with the do. All right, he says, all right, I love it. That's the fire we need in this team. If we're not going to see it from the coaching staff, you're not going to see it from your coaching staff. When your coaching staff is just a pile of lumber at Builder Square, not much you can do. And no offense, I actually really like your team, and I think if you could make that head coaching change, which I know you agree with, I think you guys would be a little bit more of a scarier team. And I'm almost thinking that is crazy of it a year to switch coaches, and you should have. That I think you made the right decision not doing it this year. This year is a whole carnival of coaches, and as fun as it is to see, it's starting to be a little diluted now to the point where you have so many openings still, a lot of guys interviewing, and if they don't get picked up right away, you start ask questions and think, what the hell's going on, right? So Jesse Minter, he's taken over the Baltimore job. John Harbaugh takes over for the Giants. Kevin Stefanski takes over for the Falcons. Robert Saleh takes over for the Titans. You got us hiring Petzing for the OC. Mike McDaniels was supposed to be the OC for the Chargers. Now it looks like he's interviewing for the Bills head coaching job, which recently became vacant. So you still have the Browns out there, which at this point, I think maybe they'll be the first team to just not have a head coach this year. I did read that Jim Schwartz may be promoted up into the organization because I think they like to see what he can do with that defense. But the doc said the pieces are there, just like when Dungy was the coach. We just need someone to take it over. No, that's true. It's true. Let's see. Let's see how this works, ladies and gentlemen. We got a big special guest, and he's near and dear to your heart. He's near and dear to mine. Let's see if we can get. Let's bring in Hermdo.
What's up, man? All right, listen to this.
I had to bring you in with some entrance music, dude.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. What was that music?
That was the NWO theme music from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm such a boomer. I don't know these things. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll give you.
I'm sorry. What's happening, Mark? What's going on, buddy? We got the Pistons playing tonight. We got Red Wings losing in overtime to Minnesota. Unfortunately, we got Phillip Rivers wanting to be the Bills head coach. We got Tigers signing somebody I don't know, and I do not know who this person is, and all sorts of other fun stuff happening across the Detroit sports world. And as food flecks out of my mouth, I just had some chocolate-covered pretzels. I'm a big fat guy treat for me. But what's going on, Mark? What's happening, baby? Talk to me, Mark.
Before you came on here, while you were enjoying your chocolate-covered pretzels, the doc and I were talking a little bit, but dude just joined us. I went over Detroit Lions offensive coordinator history all the way from 95 up, on the premise of Amon-Ra St. Brown telling everybody in Detroit to relax, basically saying you need to trust Dan, trust the process.
Okay.
It's just, listen, I didn't realize that Anthony Lynn was the third worst and Ben Johnson was the best in history. So how do you go from third worst to best to Johnny Morton, which is basically an asterisk? We didn't have an offensive coordinator this season.
No, we had him for like 6 games.
And he's already on the Broncos staff, so fuck him. Right?
Yeah.
Hopefully bad things happen to him. But
was he the water boy now?
Yeah, he's like some special assistant to Sean Payton. I don't fuck him. He's done. He's never
fuck him.
Yeah. But I think to my point I was trying to make was he's probably not wrong. Relax. I try to think back when Darrell Bevel was the OC and Joe Lombardi and Jim Bob Cooter and I can't tell you that all of us after Anthony Lynn was shit canned and they hired Ben Johnson, this quiet little tight ends coach, that we were like, oh, for sure, dude, this is the best. We were like, still kind of on that high of Dan Campbell of whoever the fuck this guy touches is gold.
Yeah, true. But I think we should, as Lions fans, and I think about this every so often for the last few years, I think we all need to appreciate the fact we had a man named Jim Bob Cooter as our offensive coordinator. I don't think that's talked about enough. Somebody straight out of the bayou, somebody who eats those shrimp, somebody straight from Louisiana, wherever the hell he was from, somebody who sounds like he's dating his own cousin or something. But that was very funny to me. Cooter, I mean, just a great American name. God bless him, but not a very good offensive coordinator. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, I've been to Tennessee. It's a hell of a state. Beautiful state. One very friendly people, very backwards, of course, but that's okay. We love our backwards people. Anyways,
Hermdo, I didn't realize this. Jim Bob Cooter is the offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts.
Really?
I did not realize that. Which they
a country boy can survive. A country boy can survive. Well, that's what I'm hearing. The Indianapolis Colts, who he directed Phillip Rivers for a couple weeks at the end of the season. So. Yep. What was his music? He had a good run, Hermdo. Oh, sorry, Doctor and the Dew. I didn't watch wrestling back in the day. I'm sorry. But what's going on with the defensive coordinators? That's what I'd like to know is Kelvin Shepard going to take off for Miami? Mm-hmm. What's happening with that? Are they going to bring him back? Do we have anybody in the pipeline that could be possible replacements? Are we interviewing anybody else? I haven't been paying too much attention to it. I've been busy with other things, but let's take a look. Let's see what's happening. Hold on.
It seems like all that Bills, whatever you want to call that, showboating by that owner kind of took over the news. I mean, I've shared so many memes with you and Wayne about, them sitting in the Dumb and Dumber outfit. But they, just eviscerated Sean McDermott and everything that he did last year and just basically said he's at fault for everything.
That they threw him under the bus. That was a big mess. This is the guy that, pretty much brought you back to success. He had Josh Allen in his system. He was, one of the guys that was kind of, a figurehead in like the Buffalo, the Buffalo rebuild, the Buffalo rebranding, the brand new Bills and whatnot. And they kind of just threw him out like yesterday's bathwater, and a little bit of a surprise there. But, a lot of other teams, especially like the Ravens and the Steelers, teams that have, been known as solid organizations, they're entering new eras too. A lot of teams are entering.
That was done so vicious with Keon Coleman and Sean McDermott. They basically just said we didn't want him. Like,
Keon Coleman surprised me. That was like, really? I mean, you show me that thing on your phone. I'm like, holy shit. So. Yeah, they're just I don't know, man. This is probably going to be a tumultuous time for the Bills. A lot of teams are, they're restructuring right now, and I guess the Lions are in a way. But this offensive coordinator, I mean, people are kind of flipping out about it. But I don't know. Maybe I could echo Amon-Ra St. Brown's sentiment and just be like, we got to chill out, we got to calm down. I think this could be because we talked about it with Wayne a little bit. We looked some stuff up. We discussed it. I think like maybe the tight ends will work with Sam Laporta. I like maybe his running scheme, his play action schemes with Jared Goff. That can be good. I think he could bring a new dimension to this offense and kind of get it clicking how it wasn't clicking last year. But
I was gonna say that's it right there. I think if there's one thing I've thought about this guy is that he's truly coming in here to be an offensive coordinator to basically scheme his little brain away.
Yes.
He doesn't have to worry about the lack of talent like he had in Cincinnati or Arizona.
Arizona.
So
Yep.
I think if this guy is, from a cerebral standpoint, everything that we'd want him to be, and let's be honest, that's what we liked about Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was quiet. He had no noise. He sat there on the sideline. He was so into the game in the scheming side of it that he let Dan just be the big coach and big personality. That's how this team functions. And if and no offense to him, but he obviously looks like Uncle Fester. If a guy like him can just sit back and stand on the sideline and nerd out with weapons, right?
Yes.
And just focus on being the best offensive coordinator we've had, because he's going to take us to a conference championship and a Super Bowl, then I'm excited and okay with this, because now I start thinking about it. That was the success, that's how that formula worked, right? Let Dan Campbell be the big personality. You're not going to have Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniels on the sideline together now. Mike McDaniels, not when he was a little, ball boy, but you're not going to have Cliff Kingsbury on the sideline with an ego and then Dan Campbell. Like, you need to have a guy who just comes in and he's like, well, I'm just ready to do my stuff and just nerd out. So
just work quietly, because Dan Campbell's got such a big personality. Just work in his shadow. That's all we need. We just need a guy with the numbers who can get going. Who can the O-line is going to be a problem. Thank you, Drew. I know we've been talking about it nonstop for weeks now, but Dan Skipper did retire. That does raise some questions as what's going on. Taylor Decker and whatnot, what his status is going to be, where the Lions should be targeting people in the draft and free agency. Hopefully, Brad Holmes can take free agency seriously. But I mean, as far as like O-lines, offensive coordinator stuff goes, we don't need some big flashy guy here. I mean, if something, you kind of think if Mike McDaniels is here, Mike McDaniels is a big personality. You're thinking maybe that would clash with Dan Campbell a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's what the Lions higher ups thought. But I think this Petzing hire is going to be fine. Until they give me a reason to really not trust him, I'm still going to trust like the Lions front office as far as this stuff goes. But I know I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm being a simp. I'm being a cult member or whatever. But
you're right. That's what they're going to call you. That's what guys like to do are going to say. But I just think you're being realistic. I think when Amon-Ra said that, he said Lions fans just go ballistic. Like one little scrape on the knee and they go tell on everybody. Right?
Yeah.
Recess is over. We're tattling on everybody. And I get it. I get why Lions fans are like that because of the years of the losing, but at some point we got to move the fuck on and just be a normal football team.
Yeah, we got to just, if we can have sustained success, I don't know how long this, now look, could this blow up in our faces and could the Lions be irrelevant again? Sure. I'm sure the dude would love that. I'm sure he would absolutely love that, but I have to believe the Lions are on the right track now. And after a few more years of success, I mean, if we don't win the hardware, I know that's going to be a kick in the balls. But I got to believe that if the Lions can, put together winning teams and winning seasons and win playoff games, and eventually get to the big game, because that's the whole enchilada. That's what we all want. But I got to believe if the Lions start having more sustained success, they can bounce back from last season and reform this team and get back to being competitive again. And we can be competitive for a few more years. I know that's a big ask with this organization, with any organization, really. Not every organization is guaranteed to have success every year. But, hopefully Lions fans can just mature and grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to trash talk the fans too much. I'm a Lions fan. And Lord knows, I've been through the ringer with this team. We all know, you, me, Hitch, all the guys that watch, everybody.
Ooh, let's be
we
careful
know.
with Hitch. I don't really think he watches the games anymore. I think he just rewatches the 2007 season over and over.
Probably. We got some classic Martinelli action, but
he's still in that era.
Oh, good God! But hopefully we can all be we can all grow up a little bit and enjoy some winning football and hold our team in high regards too. We don't want to be, we want to accept more from our teams and whatnot. But there's a lot of dimensions to this, really.
You're right. There's always going to be fans like the dude, and the doctor said, right? He love it because what else does he have something to bitch about? We're in the city. We're in the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit. Everyone loves to bitch in this fucking town. And I think no matter what, right, you're always going to have that section of sports fans that are just not happy when things are good. They just want things to fail. I'm kind of not, I don't want to say I'm like that with the Tigers right now, but I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic with the Tigers. We can get into that later. I think there was a big false sense of winning last season, that these Tigers fans are walking into the offseason thinking a little bit more, thinking they have a better team than they really do.
Yeah. We'll have to assess that later, but Brad Holmes equals relevancy, not championships. There it goes again.
There he goes.
You're making me angry. Good thing I've had a couple of pops and I'm in a good mood. But
yeah, good for you.
Well, yeah, I gotta drink to escape reality. But yeah, bitching is just comes part and parcel with being a Detroit sports fan. There's always something to bitch about.
Well, you're bitching about the Red Wings. Look at you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bitching. I mean, the game. I mean, it's just one of those things, It's one loss, but they've been kicking ass. But it's a tight divisional round, with the Red Wings, and they're doing really well. I can't bitch too much. I hate seeing all these overtime games, especially when they're giving points to division rivals. Like you give a point.
Let's not forget to celebrate the 5-game, 6-game winning streaks that they've won. Ben,
they
just swept the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah,
right.
First time in 20 years.
Yeah, so
it's second time in franchise history.
Look at these little milestones, Hermdo, as key identifiers. As this team's for real, right?
I think this team. I bitch, but I think this Red Wings team is for real. I don't think they're falling off. I think we finally cleared the hump. I think we got we're in a good spot here with the Red Wings. I mean they're gonna. I mean I'm not gonna have a panic attack every time they lose. You want to take it to a team like a very good Western team like the Minnesota Wild, but they still got a lot of talent on that team. We still got a point out of the game, so our point streak continues. We've been playing excellent hockey, one of the hottest teams in the league since December 1st. So it is what it is.
Look at it that way. Look at it.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I just you're going to have losses every once in a while. I mean, I'm just being a silly goose. You have to forgive me, but
be the silly goose you may, because this is how I get when the Lions lose, and you've talked me out of this. And I'm thinking about the Pistons obviously right now, and I'm wearing the jersey.
Yes,
they're playing Houston. They're up by 2 points. This is a team, dude, that just is fierce as shit.
Yes.
I cannot tell you, if you are watching us right now, all 4 people, if you have not been following the Pistons this year and you enjoyed basketball back when we were relevant, I'll use your word, or I'm sorry, I'll use the dude's word, but it's the same. This is better. This is better than the going to work team. These guys are younger, hungrier, and Cade is a clear-cut MVP. There's no doubt
absolutely.
About it. There's no doubt.
He's a machine. I remember when he got drafted. It was just such. I mean, the aura surrounding Cade Cunningham was always good. I remember watching. I mean, when the Pistons got the first overall pick in 2021, when Ben Wallace was there and he made the pick and everything like that, or it was part of that lottery. He made the lottery pick and what have you. But when they got that pick, and when you saw Cade Cunningham, and I remember he came down. Just a little Cade Cunningham aside, but as he came down to Comerica Park and watched. It was the Red Wings played the Rangers that year, that game, and they beat them 14-6 or something. The Tigers just obliterated the Rangers, and Cade was there along with a couple other guys that the Pistons were thinking about drafting. But I remember the Comerica Park crowd was chanting, "We want Cade, we want Cade, we want Cade." And then, draft night, he gets up there, first overall pick, obviously. One of the only good things that wasn't even that dickhead GM we had I forgot what his name was. Russ something or what was his name?
Russ something?
No, not Russ. What was his name? It was shit. Before Trajan Langdon. What? Oh, what was his name?
Before Trajan Langdon. I'm trying to
Before
think.
Trajan Langdon, the Pistons GM. We hired him like in 2021, I want to say, or 2020.
GM 2020. It was Troy Weaver.
Troy Weaver, right. Why don't I say Russ from? Yeah, we got him from Oklahoma City.
Yep.
Yeah, but we remember that probably the only good thing that Troy Weaver did for us, drafting Cade Cunningham. I know there was some talk about, maybe they'll take Jalen Green, but we all saw how that worked out. But but Cade came here. He was wearing the buffs. He was totally embracing the Pistons style. He came here and he played. It was just an absolute dumpster fire. And we had the year with Monty Williams, and that was a utter disaster. And JB Bickerstaff, everything's gelling. Him and Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart, like looking like Defensive Player of the Year. It's absolutely insane. But I just I remember Skip Bayless saying that old disgusting vampire was like, well, Cade Cunningham's not a player that's gonna remake your team. He's not like a franchise player. He's not a franchise defining player. It's like, fuck you, Skip. You fucking anti-Detroit.
That old disgusting vampire is probably is next to you calling what did you call a cryptid? Sir, a Scandinavian monster. You're good with
Mark Davis from he looks like some kid. He looks like a guy that kidnaps children who don't tie their shoes or something. That's all what Scandinavian folklore is. Like some giant cat that preys upon children. That's like every single Scandinavian tale. They freak the shit out of the kids down there. But
listen,
speaking of it's just Skip Bayless, he's another cryptid. He's another Norwegian monster. But I'm tired of his shit. I'm tired of the league pissing and shitting all over us. I mean, we're getting a lot of daps here. A lot of people are saying take the Pistons seriously. That's the thing, and that's because of Cade. Cade has come here and he's changed the culture. And JB Bickerstaff, Trajan Langdon, give those guys their props too. They were good fits for here. They were good fits in Detroit. They made the right moves. They built a really good team. And, Cade is the centerpiece of that. He's a guy, and that's what you need. That's what you need. That's what Detroit Pistons, they got exactly what they needed. They needed a franchise number one. They got that in Cade Cunningham, and the guy is just phenomenal.
Well, I want to share this because you're speaking to Cade Cunningham. Jason's at the game tonight, and he actually, so what he does is he gets there early and he tries to get all the autographs. Well, he's always trying for Cade. Cade's the hardest to get, right? But tonight he was able to get Cade.
Oh, man.
So check this out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Watch the excitement on this kid's face.
There he is. There's right the there. Man. Oh, hell yeah. Good job, buddy. Watch nice. This. Nice. Made that young man's year.
Right?
Hell yeah.
This kid has strep throat right now. Before he went to the game, he could barely talk. We'd load him up with medicine. And you meet Cade Cunningham, and the sickness goes away, right?
Yep.
It's just so cool.
Cade laid hands upon him. I love it.
Right on.
Good for Jay, though. Good for Jay. That's great. That's good stuff, man. Definitely.
Something you never forget.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, as you were talking about the cryptid small gray Skip Bayless, the dude did remind us that he is a Cowboys fan. So what do you expect? Exactly.
Oh God, just put him out of his misery. Him and Jerry Jones, put those old fucks out of everyone's misery. Just take them out back and give them the old Yeller treatment. Skip and put them on a boat to some penal colony somewhere. Just get these old fucks out of here. Skip Bayless and Jerry Jones, these geriatric fucks. I'm tired of both of them. Get the hell out of here. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of seeing their disgusting wrinkled faces on our TVs. I'm sick of it. And it gives me another excuse to bitch about Jerry Jones again, but yuck. Ugh.
If you subscribe to the fact that Jerry Jones is a shape-shifting reptilian,
yes,
you almost have to think if we could find his adrenochrome supplier and nip that in the bud, then we'd be able to slowly watch him wither away, because
I think so.
They only survive on the fear of small children. So
yes,
I don't know. I agree with you. I think the sports world would be a better place if we could get rid of, and I'm not saying they need to die. I'm just saying they need to go away. Another planet, another portal. Remember
Yeah,
that flight, that Asian Malaysian airline flight that
yeah,
disappeared? They
yeah,
do one of them little things where they zap them
yeah.
in like
Send
a
them
lost,
through.
another portal
Yeah, put them
somewhere.
through a rip in the space time continuum. Just get them out of
Yes.
our reality. Get
Thank
them
you.
out of our reality.
You don't have to kill them.
Enough.
Just
Enough
get
of
them
this
out of our
crap.
reality.
Yeah,
Um,
just transfer them to a fourth dimension or something. You know.
I think the underground people that smell like trash would love them. So,
I
anyways,
think so.
it's getting to a point now where networks like ESPN, excuse me, have
Bless you.
lost their relevance because they've tied their ship down.
Bless you.
Sorry, thank you. They've tied their ship down to those idiots, right?
Yeah.
So Pat McAfee is their golden savior at ESPN, and they
Mm,
basically there's a part of ESPN that has to somehow remind these guys just let him do what he wants. Like this is the only reason people are still watching.
yeah.
I was watching it wasn't the Natty game. I think it was the lead up to the Natty game where
Hmm.
Indiana. I don't remember. But it was a college football playoff game, and I was watching the Pat McAfee version, right? And it was him and
Yeah.
his goons on the sideline making their small little bullshit banter during the game. I'd
Hmm.
rather hear that than what we have available in the broadcast booth. So when it comes down to it, we've lost, not only does the mainstream media from the news standpoint, as that's completely vanished, right? Unless you're Hitch, he's a big Don Lemon fan. Um,
Mm,
then you have to take a look at ESPN and say the same thing. So the Skip Baylesses, the Stephen A. Smiths,
yeah.
these are the mainstream sports guys that we're just
Yeah.
done with. We're tapped out on.
I
You know,
know.
Jerry or Skip Bayless is like the fucking Rachel Maddow of
Yeah.
cable
Shannon
news.
Sharp was good to get away from him. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. And then you've got Club Shay Shay on YouTube. And I'm only watching him because of the Cat Williams interview. And everything else he put on there is hot trash.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's part of the Illuminati too, the boule,
Yeah.
as they call it.
Yeah. All these old head sports guys. There's a couple guys. I like Rich Eisen still. I still think Rich Eisen is a class act. I know he's a Michigan guy, but um,
Yeah.
I enjoy him for the most part. But there's a lot of other guys, on the ESPN and whatnot. It's just like, no, thank you. I don't need to watch this crap. But I mean, I do like Pat McAfee. I do like the energy he brings. I think he's an entertaining guy. He's a
Yeah.
meathead. He's a jock, but I think that brings a dimension to his
It's
like
refreshing.
persona.
It's sports. It's refreshing. There's
Yeah,
honesty. There's even if it's a little manufactured,
yeah,
that attitude, that style. It's a little bit more refreshing. They're bringing on players. They're talking like us.
yeah,
Obviously, it's a little bit more jacked up. But when's the last time a punter did this, right? Or
yeah,
was relevant, or you remembered? So
yeah. Exactly. I mean, Pat McAfee made a name for himself. Don't forget that Nick moron. I got to be more specific. Yeah, but just with these other guys, and especially like college game day stuff. I mean, I guess they're not going to be dragging Lee Corso's corpse out there anymore, unfortunately. But
you never know. You
you never
truly
know. You never know.
Lee
Oh,
Corso is one that I think they'll pull. Oh, hey, here's my dog. Lee Corso is one I think they'll pull like a Tupac hologram, and maybe it'll just be a skin suit, and they all take turns wearing the Lee Corso skin suit.
not so fast. Yikes, yikes! You took it to a dark place, but
That's what I do.
yeah. What do you make? I gotta ask. I mean, there's been some controversy and stuff around the guy, but what do you think of a guy like Dave Portnoy? Barstool Sports. I think some of those guys can be entertaining, but sometimes Dave Portnoy he rubs me the wrong way. Sometimes I think
Yeah.
with some of this gambling stuff, he's a little obnoxious. I think with some of his persona, is a little bit like, okay, dude, yeah, tone it down a little bit.
I think if you're going to, it's what you expect, right? What do
Yeah,
you want, right? I watch Pat McAfee as a guy who's a former sports player who is giving you a sports breakdown. Dave Portnoy is a entrepreneurial businessman. He's there to shock you, to say these things to piss you off. It's how he makes
Yeah.
his money. So from that perspective, he's entertaining, but I take him with a grain of salt.
That's true.
I'm gonna
That's
go
the
let
best.
my dog out. So if you can entertain, he is about to jump on me again. So
Okay, no, go do what
Pardon.
you got to do. That's not a problem. I'll ramble about Dave Portnoy for a little while. If anyone wants to leave a comment, go ahead. I'm not going to read them, but yeah, Dave Portnoy is an okay. There we go. I disappeared. Yeah, but I don't know if you can still see me. My do. Hang on. Okay. But there I go. There I am. I've just disappeared again. But yeah, I think maybe Mark pressed a button. I don't know if you can see me anymore, but yeah, I don't know. I'm entertained by like Dave Portnoy for the most part. I don't know if you guys can still see this or whatnot. I don't know if you can. We got all sorts of stuff in the chat. All sorts of stuff in the chat. Entertain me, Tom. Larry Zatkoff? Are you serious? No way. You're not Larry Zatkoff. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. You are not Larry Zatkoff. Holy shit. We can see you. Okay, good. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I think Dave Portnoy could be kind of. I mean, watching some of his pizza reviews is fun, but seeing him almost getting like fist fights with people over this stupid shit, over just like going to some random pizzeria in the middle of like Newark, New Jersey, and like somebody like tell him like he's on private property and he can't like record there. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But yeah, there's other guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't really watch too much like sports broadcast. I mean, like I don't know. I'm not like big into like Pat McAfee. I think he's an entertaining guy. He's kind of a meathead, but that's like part of his charm. He's one of these guys that just kind of like speaks his mind, and he's kind of been there. And he's like a big Colts guy. He was a player for the Colts. He was a punter for the Colts, and I mean, we see kind of like some of the issues the Colts have had. They were 7-1 to start the season last year. They might have missed the playoffs because Daniel Jones went down. Daniel Jones, former New York Giant. We saw how his, kind of like another situation where you got a guy like kind of a reclamation project, kind of like not what was his name? Sam Darnold. I want to say Sam Bradford. Remember Sam Bradford? Jeez, oh man, that was back in like 2008. But like a Sam Darnold kind of situation where you go to a new. We saw like Sam Darnold in like the New York Jets and what a disaster he was. And then he kind of reshapes his own career in Minnesota, and he's taking the Seahawks to new levels and whatnot. But could that be the same kind of story with like a Daniel Jones kind of guy where he was like he never was gonna succeed in like the New York Giants, but now he's making a name for himself in the Colts. But he did get hurt, so I'm just rambling incoherently. You have to forgive me, but. Oh, here we go. Here we
go. Sorry about that. If that
no, you're all right. We got Larry Zatkoff in the chat. I thought that was pretty freaky. Yeah, one of my St. Isaac jokes buddies.
Oh,
he was a guy I knew way back in the day, but I don't know if it's actually him. I'm curious about that. Now I'm getting all conspiratorial here,
But Dude says we can see you. Was that to me?
I'm back, Tom. We're finally alone. Oh, thank God. Reginald Vell Johnson's butthole is here. As I rambled incoherently, I talked about the Colts. I talked about Pat McAfee, and then I had like a stream of consciousness where I talked about like Daniel Jones kind of making a new name for himself.
I got you
as the Indianapolis quarterback, and then he kind of fell off, and they were kind of just like the season wound up being a disaster. But I kind of thought like maybe Daniel Jones could be like, yeah. But like Daniel Jones could be like kind of the next like Sam Darnold and like be a guy that was just a disaster in one place. He just didn't have the resources to succeed, but he can make a name for himself elsewhere. But you saw how Sam Darnold's doing. But
I'll tell you what. I think Sam Darnold's going to win himself a Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Pope conspiracy. And every year that we get a new Pope, the Seahawks win. So their defense is just completely back to being undoubtable, which got them to where they needed to be. And we've seen what Russell Wilson looks like when he's not around a good Seattle Seahawks defense. He's a
oh my God,
he's a complete loser.
Yeah.
So you just think about that, and I think, okay, if they're going to do anything this year, it's probably going to be their year because Matthew Stafford and the Rams, the magic that they had going into the playoffs has kind of died down. Like I felt like they used their last reboost button or their last star.
Yeah, their last life is like a cat with 9 lives.
Yeah,
They
just to
spent
get
all
through
8
that
lives
game.
already. Yeah,
and
but
it's just it seems like they're cashed out.
that's entirely possible. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with the next. I mean, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be it's going to be a hell. This has already been a pretty entertaining playoffs, definitely. But
Yeah,
we got Rams
Stidham versus the fucking what is it? Jared Stidham versus Drake May. How riveting!
Yeah, Jared Stidham. Yeah, Bo Nix went down, so I think that kind of seals the Broncos' fate. They did win that game, but it cost them quite a bit. They did beat the Bills. The Bills who had 5 turnovers that game. I'm sure that Wayne is crying himself to sleep about that. But so we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's one of these games. Maybe Jared Stidham can activate a new level. But Drake May just looks like he looks like he looks like he could be the next big thing. Honestly, or like the Patriots are running on all cylinders. And I'm so goddamn sick of the Patriots.
Thinking Jared Stidham is going to pull a Nick Foles and win a Super Bowl for his team?
You never know, man. Crazier things have happened. I don't know if I'd bet on it, but
yeah.
You never know. I don't know how the matchups go. I only learned Jared Stidham's name like 3 days ago, but yeah, this could be interesting. It's some interesting storylines. You got Rams and Seahawks, Stafford versus Darnold for the NFC Championship, and we'll see. That's going to be exciting too. This could be some good games. Could it be like a Patriot? It'd be like a Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl like it was back in like 2015 or whatever that was, or 2014, I want to say.
That wouldn't be bad. That would be what I'd probably prefer because seeing a Bo Nixless Denver kind of doesn't excite me as much, but seeing go full Patriots Seattle and see what happens. Maybe we'll have an interception in the goal line again.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe we'll have
Maybe
we'll have Daryl Bevell refuse to run Marshawn Lynch. With Denver's D, Stidham just has to be a game manager. That's what the Do has to say. Thank you, Do.
That's your boy.
That's my boy. My boy, Do.
Yep.
All my boys. Got Reginald Johnson's butthole in here. We got the Do in here. We got Larry Zadkoff, a kid who I knew back in like 3rd grade. So all sorts of stuff. Wonder if anyone's going to tell me about Sister Rochelle anymore. But
Reginald L. Johnson's butthole has to be one of the better names. Better than Lester Diamond. Better than Randy Watson. Better than Chet Sherman.
Yes, Chet Sherman. My buddy Chet Sherman, who comments on my YouTube videos.
American Patriot.
My shitty YouTube videos that no one watches.
Get better views than some of ours, man. Hey, and your other view on Tarek Skubal is like basically at 3,000 views. So
yeah, hell yeah.
You need a fucking award this year.
I know. I'm the MVP. I'm the employee of the month for the Detroit Fan Forum. Yeah. But yeah, we got some good football coming up. Very exciting stuff happening in the world of football. Fans, I pick my nose and I itch my nose.
I feel like once we hit the hour, that's when things can just get weird. Right.
Yes.
And normally I'd have a bedtime, but I don't have a bedtime right now. So
I got to go to work tomorrow, but not till like later in the day. So I could stay up a little bit. I could stay up and gab a little bit with my good friend Mark and our good friend the Do and our good friend Reginald Vole Johnson's butthole. But yeah.
So where do you think the coaching stuff is going to fall out, right? Where do we think this is going to do we think that we're going to see a Jim Schwartz Browns and a who the fuck's going to be the Arizona Cardinals coach? Like, are they just going to give it to Jim Caldwell?
What's his name? Oh, shoot. The Ravens hired who did they hire? Jesse Minter. I just saw his name. Yeah, that's an interesting scenario here. I mean, that could be really something to look forward to. But what does the Do have to say? Speaking of Skubal, still think the Tigers won't let him walk? Oh God, I hope not. Man, if the Tigers let Skubal walk, oh Jesus Christ, they got to burn the goddamn franchise to the ground.
If they let this guy walk, which I think what the Do is saying is he doesn't like Scott Harris, and he thinks he's arrogant and snarky and not a Detroit kind of fella. And I'm starting to not like Scott Harris. I don't know why. You know what Scott Harris is, and I'm sorry that you didn't watch wrestling, but if the doc is still on, and I know the dude will know this, but Scott Harris is Eric Bischoff NWO. He's going to do everything he can to arrogantly piss you off and make all the wrong decisions. And at first I said, okay, they're bringing in kind of a Brad Holmes-esque fellow for baseball, and he's going to do a lot of great things for the organization. But the first thing Brad Holmes did was get the fans to fall in love with him and the organization.
Yeah.
I feel like Scott Harris is just pissing off Tigers fans. No moves, no nothing, blah, signings, the goofball we got today, he'll be cut.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck that was.
Yep.
Then you take a back-to-back Cy Young winner, you insult him with a contract negotiation, right? And your arbitration is so off. And then you miss out on trading him to teams that need him. And now you've got the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees all kind of gave a good chunk of salary and kind of went all in on names. Not all in, but they kind of blew their wad a little bit.
They got New York Mets got Bo Bichette and Freddie Peralta, so
that's a big one, right? So a team that is going to spend that money, what are we going to do with Scooble, man? So thank you, Dew. I think he really is Bischoff. He is. Put the black leather jacket on Scott Harris, and he's Bischoff. Does that make? Oh, dude, do not say this. Brad Holmes, Vince Russo.
Oh
no, dude, that's Matt Millen. Matt Millen is Vince Russo, bro. Sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That got me all fired up. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really it's kind of embarrassing. You got to wonder, like, is Chris Ilitch just that he's the big factor in this too. Does the Ilitch family just not want to spend money anymore? I mean, do they see like the Tigers like for the first 5 months of the season have all that success, and they're just like, okay, this is good enough, and they think they can build. I mean, the Tigers' obvious flaws, which were present in the last month, this absolutely brutal, horrific September where they blew that 15-game lead. But, they just think that we don't need more help in that way, that we don't need, we don't need to keep a guy like Scooble, or we don't need to add some bats to this, or, we just need – we got to revamp our offense. I think the Tigers' MO is it's going to be low payroll. They're going to promote guys from the farm. They're going to make a bunch of nothing signings. We're going to have a bunch of farm hands on this team. We're going to have more guys like Trey Sweeney and Colt Keith and Zach McKinstry, and those guys contributed and whatnot, but just they're not big flashy names. They just
fun and scrappy. Are we going to be saying that a lot?
Fun and scrappy, the gritty Tigers. Ooh. But it's just man, I think if you're going like that,
win.
Yeah, if you're just. It's just when are we taking the training wheels off? When are we going to be a big boy franchise again? When are we going to be spending a top 10 or a top 5 payroll and actually get some guys here? And it's just Bo Bichette, got away from you. This whole thing, just Alex Bregman, that thing too last season. But it's just, the Tigers. You got to give AJ Hinch something to work with. You got this guy; he's like an A+ manager, and you just give him nothing.
All right,
Detroit's fan base is too loyal, and we don't demand titles. I think you're right. I catch myself doing that sometimes too. Sometimes I'm so hungry just to have relevant sports that sometimes I just put the title stuff on the back burner. We were so spoiled with the Red Wings winning every other year, for 20 years, but. It's just one of those things. We got to demand more as Tigers fans. We got to demand more. And if these teams aren't, then. But just the thing is, the Tigers fans are still going to show up. This team is still a draw.
Exactly.
I know that.
Exactly. You're going to see a bunch of boomers sitting there with their Tigers jerseys tucked into their jean shorts at their game, sitting there watching these games, still keeping the score on a piece of paper because they're going to a Tigers game.
Yeah.
And the tickets are somewhat still affordable in baseball. It's still an affordable way to go. It's not like it's not like football where you're spending $12,000 just to get in the door. It is still relatively cheap if you want to even see a team that's not that great. But I agree. I support that fact. Listen,
Yeah.
we're way too loyal. How did how did Ford Field sell out during the 0-16 season? That's pathetic, right?
Yeah.
I'll never forget going back to Mike Valeni and saying, "You're right," when he goes, "Yeah, guys need to stop supporting this terrible, terrible organization," right? When he was
Yeah.
talking about the Lions, but
Yep.
I'll say that to the Tigers, right? Stop buying into this bullshit. Stop
Yeah.
getting excited. Stop going down there to the ballpark and buying into this. I'm done.
They're spit if they let go of Scooble, they're spitting in your face, man.
Yep.
They're telling you we're not a serious organization. We just want to we're going to be huffing the fumes of 84 forever. We're going to drag Alan Trammell and Kirk Gibson out there. We're going to have this big circle jerk. We're going to have like Miggy bobblehead night. Remember, Miggy, how great he was for a few years before he got that. He started falling apart after 16 and stuff. And we're going to be dragging him up. Remember, like the remember when kind of stuff. It just like, and it's so frustrating because I think the Tigers are on the cusp of something very good.
Carlos
but it's obvious
Ian
what they're
bobblehead
deficient.
night.
Yeah, they'll have some jerk off like commemorative night. They'll retire somebody's number or they'll do whatever. But
They'll let
do this
Bobby
cute
Higginson come to a game for free.
Oh Jesus! I was talking about Bobby Higginson came up when I was talking with Hitch, and he was talking about how he had all this warning track power. I'm like, okay, Gramps, but
Bobby Higginson didn't have warning track power. That's when Hitch had 28. He was on his warning track beer, and he was getting ready to over and expire if he thinks Bobby Higginson had warning track power. Good Lord.
He was drinking so much, but anyways,
only way Scooble gets traded is if the Tigers are out at the deadline. Hold on, I'm gonna put my conspiracy hat on real quick and say, you want a year where the Dodgers, where everyone's saying put a cap to baseball and baseball's going to go on strike, that's just going to take a team like the Dodgers and say, we're going to spend more money than you ever thought. And we're going to add more power than you could ever think. And we're going to go out and we're going to sign Kyle Tucker to a $240 million deal and a $7 trillion payroll. But you know what I think the Dodgers are going to do? And I've been saying this since last year. I think they're going to go and you want prospects? Fine. Take our fucking prospects. We'll get 5 more top prospects in the world next year. We'll give us Scooble. And I think we're going to get what would consider a king's ransom. But I think the Dodgers and the Tigers are going to say, fuck you to Major League Baseball and fuck you to your salary cap. And they're going to have literally the best baseball team ever existing with the highest payroll. And I won't watch a fucking game.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like baseball is such a fucking mess right now. The Dodgers are fucking everything up.
Everything.
What the fuck? What are we even watching this fucking sport for? I mean,
and this is fucking why it's Hulk Hogan with creative control. He fucked everything up. Sorry, I know you're not a wrestling guy. I keep going back, but I know we got wrestling fans on. I got it locked into my head, and I love a good analogy, Hermdo. Sorry.
I know who Hulk Hogan is, for God's sake. But
he ruined the sport by having too much creative control, and that's what you're giving the Dodgers is like literally writing the script every season and saying we'll take him, we'll take him, we'll take him, we'll take him.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees and Tigers, or the Yankees and Mets, you take those couple of guys, but when it comes to Scooble, I still think he's a Dodger. I do. Oh
my God.
Once they paraded him around all those teams, it was like a ha ha ha. Scott Harris was like, I am going to take all of your favorite toys and then bring them over to your house, and then one day I'm just going to step on them, right? Like, it's just a dick.
He is a dick. Oh, this whole thing, it's just so... At what point, I love baseball. I love watching the games, man. But some days, this shit, I'm just feeling checked out with this shit, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch these $400 million teams win these fucking titles, man. I'm tired of that shit. Hi, Plaxico. How you doing? Are you recovering well after shooting yourself? But
what a sad story that was.
Jeez Louise. But anyways, Michigan State product, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but it just how's Charles Rogers doing? But
well, let's take a look at Scott Harris because we're shit talking to him, and he was born a year after us. Fucker's born in '87, dude.
What the fuck?
I know he's literally only 39. He was assistant general manager of the Chicago Cubs from 2018 to 2019.
Mhm.
He was the San Francisco Giants general manager at 19 and 22. So basically, he was in his early 30s managing a billion-dollar sports team while you and I were just in our basement podcasting.
Pretty much. I was drinking
uh,
beer when Scott Harris was the GM of the Tigers, but
and he became in 2022 president of baseball operations for the Tigers. He's
Yeah.
got a World Series championship under his belt with the Cubs, obviously. So I guess if there's any way of saying it, you look at two teams like the early on Cubs and the San Francisco Giants, and those are guys that I guess just had a lot of talent. I mean, it wasn't any
Yeah.
big contract, so maybe that's just not his style. I don't fucking know.
maybe
I still
not.
think he's Eric
Maybe
Bischoff.
I don't know, because the thing, you get this idea. Can you win with like a bottom 15 payroll? I mean, maybe, but in this age, you got to spend those bucks, man. You got to spend those bucks, and it's just one of those things in this era. If you actually want a title, you got to spend big money, and it's just like talking about before, where it's just like, Dew brought it up, and it's just like, do you want relevancy or do you want a ring? And I think Tigers are just happy with relevancy right now. People were talking about them. They were the most of the town for most of last season, when they were doing really well, and they kind of fell off in the second half, and they fell off really bad at the end of the year. But the Tigers were a hot team for a while, and it's good. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to say I look. I don't want to watch. I remember the 2003 season. I remember the 2020 season. I remember some of these god awful Detroit, god awful Tigers baseball. I remember the days before the World Series. I remember those teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how Detroit was like it also ran for almost 20 years, after 84. But it just, I'd rather have relevant sports, but is relevant sports good enough? I mean, that's a question we got to ask ourselves. And it's just like, if I'm going to watch like a handful of teams with like $500 million payrolls win it every year, then what the hell's, I mean, I guess I can still watch the Tigers. I mean, I do find baseball relaxing. I like going up to the bar, turning it on if I'm going to spend for one of these retarded sports packages. But, I do like, the sport of baseball. Like, you just, cracking open a beer, watching during like a hot summer day, and you're watching the Tigers, play against the Blue Jays or the Yankees or whoever. But there's a lot of things I love about baseball. But at the same, I mean, maybe I'm just becoming a boomer. Maybe this kind of stuff doesn't mean that much to me anymore. I don't know. Maybe, but it does piss me off. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but some days I'm just like, well, we watch a good baseball team, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I got to get hungrier for a title or something. I got to expect more from this team, because I've seen the Tigers reach such high heights, go all the way to the mountaintop, and come back with nothing. And it's just, it's a thing. Like, because I watch, we experience all of it as Detroit sports fans. We see our teams, just go through years of being irrelevant. Right now, I mean, the Wings were irrelevant essentially for 10 years. They seem to be coming out of it now, but we watched the Wings hoist Stanley Cups. We watched, the Tigers be irrelevant for years and years and years. And then they get to the World Series out of nowhere. It's crazy. And then it just,
it's the Wings and the Pistons, say it. In the last 20 years, it's the Wings and the Pistons.
The last 20 years, Wings and the Pistons.
Cubs. The Pistons have hosted a championship in 2004.
Yeah.
The Wings in 2008. That's it, man. That's the last time we've had titles here in Detroit.
I know.
Obviously, we had the Natty with the University of Michigan football team, and that was really cool to see. But
yes,
that's college sports. But we're talking professional.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything since 2008. It's been a long time coming. It really has. And we thought it was going to be the Lions, and I think it's the Pistons. I mean, shit. This team is they're winning right now, and they're just every time I look over, I'm obviously have the game on. It's another big defensive block. It's another big turnover. Like we just have it's a fun fucking team to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fun. So but we'll see if maybe Scott Harris can turn this fucking thing around.
Maybe
obviously he's the opposite of Dave Dombrowski. And what we have in Steve Yzerman, we have the opposite of Ken Holland. So we're just in a different paradigm right now where it's weird for us because of what we're used to, right?
Yeah.
You keep
Do you think
a boomer, but
I know. But I don't know. Some days I'm just like, it's nice to have a fun sports team, but at the end of the day, I do want championships. But it's been Wings and Pistons for the last 30 years. I mean, think about the Wings and the Pistons. I mean, I know they haven't, they technically haven't won anything in a long time, but I mean, think about the legacy of the Wings, the legacy of the Pistons, the Bad Boys era, the Going to Work era, the Teal era with Grant Hill. I know we weren't winning championships in the late 90s, but, still, I mean, the Pistons have such a great pedigree. I mean, there's a lot of teams in the NBA that never won anything, or they haven't won anything in like 50 years. But, the same thing with the Red Wings. I mean, when I was a kid, I was so spoiled as a hockey fan when I was like, 11 and 12 years old. They win the Stanley Cup. They won it again when I was 16. They won it again when I was 22. It's just like all these great memories. But, for the most part, it's just – and those teams are coming back around. Maybe it's just going to be Wings and Pistons again for the next 10 years. You never know. But, it's just with the Lions, maybe they're falling off a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I still think, that the future is bright for them because they got, a good core locked up. And I think this Petzing is going to be a decent hire personally. I still think you got, Dan Campbell. I think, that counts for something as far as culture goes. As far as the Tigers go, I just don't think they're serious. I think, they might fall off a little bit this season. I think, but nobody else in our division wants to spend money. But
nope.
The Twins are a mess. The Indians,
so
Guardians.
Funny you say that. You say that the Twins are a mess. So as you're doing it, I say, okay, I'll use our Jamie, right? Since Rogan has a Jamie, so do we. I said, Jamie, telepathically, give me the cities with the longest overall championship droughts. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, citywide, not one team, right? Citywide.
Yeah.
First one, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Last championship, Minnesota Twins, 1991. Current drought, 34 years. So considering all those teams, Hermdo, Minnesota, which now leads the United States in Somalian daycares, and maybe this is what they get for being a CIA money laundering state. Yeah, they're fucked, dude. 34 years, no championship. Number 2, Buffalo. Sorry, Wayne.
Buffalo.
Championships, none ever.
Yeah.
Over 50 years with no titles, the most painful stat in American sports. How dramatic is that?
That's pretty brutal. I know, the Buffalo Sabres, and they haven't been in the playoffs since 2011. They had some good teams in the 70s. They had like Gilbert Perreault and Rene Robert back in the 70s. They got to a finals in 75. They believe they lost to the Canadiens. And then 99, they lose to the Dallas Stars on a controversial goal because Brett Hull's skate was in the crease, and that wasn't allowed back then. But they scored on Dominic Hasek. And it's kind of interesting to consider that Brett Hull and Dominic Hasek both won a cup together on the Wings 3 years later. But Buffalo's, they had some good teams like Chris Drury and Jason Pominville in like the late 2000s, Ryan Miller in net, but they got to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple times, just couldn't break through. But it's just been pretty much irrelevancy for them ever since. And they got some good players. They got Rasmus Dahlin. They got Tage Thompson. They had Jack Eichel for a little bit, but he kind of had some issues. Now he's in Vegas, and he won a cup in Vegas. But I think they got some good pieces in Buffalo. I still think, they're probably Buffalo just one of those teams just going to be kind of just trailing behind everybody else, kind of like an afterthought in the NHL. And I don't say that with any malice in my heart. I don't have any hate for Buffalo, but that's just kind of the way it is right now. They play the Wings tough as hell. I say that much. But
shy behind Buffalo is San Diego, which I believe is a whale's vagina. It is 60 years of nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got Chargers, Padres, Clippers, and you've got nothing. Following that with Sacramento. Let's stop giving California teams. Last championship, the Kings, 1951. They were the Rochester Kings, not the Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
And then you've got Phoenix, last championship. Good old Diamondbacks in 2001, the team that nobody thought was going to win against those.
Kurt Schilling, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So you got Suns, Cardinals, Coyotes, never won titles, 24 years. And then it goes to Detroit. Last championship, Red Wings, 2008. Lions, 57, Pistons, 04, Tigers, 84. Not the longest, but infamous because Lions equal longest NFL drought. All 4 teams collapsed together. How cute is that?
Yeah, they did. They really did.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. So Minnesota, glad we don't live there for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But you also have the worst drought out of any town. And then,
yeah.
yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Reminds me
So,
of
yeah.
playing hockey in Father Ron's rectory. Good old Father Ron.
What's Father Ron up to nowadays?
I couldn't tell you. He was the priest back at Isaac's way back in the day, back when I was a wee lad of about 12. But
What did we think of Father Ron?
seemed like a nice guy. I don't know. Yeah, he was, because we had, back in Isaac's, we had a 45-minute church service every Thursday morning, and a lot of kids. I always hated going to church. I was never a good Catholic. It was a Roman Catholic church, but I was never really very devout in my faith. I was kind of like, oh God. And this is the day before smartphones were around. I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have a Game Boy. I didn't have anything back then. So I'm just sitting 45 minutes in church, kind of just zoning out, and I'm just like, blech.
Was it Father Ron D. Hunt?
I think, what was his last name? Vigneron or something with a V, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how I remember that. I don't remember where I put my keys this morning, but I remember the name of the priest from 30 years ago.
I think we need to do that. We need to go back in time and look up every single priest that you ever encountered and see where they're at right now.
Yeah. How many times did they molest me?
I wasn't saying that.
I shouldn't have said that. Oh, my bad.
I didn't say Tampon Tim, and you went to that.
Oh Lord. I'm a sick bastard. I shouldn't say that.
Once you're an hour and 15 minutes in, I don't think they care.
Yeah. We're just being silly little gooses.
We're not Ian, Carol, or Candace Owens, but we're out there, guys. We have 8 people watching us.
Oh wow, we're kicking ass, baby. We're kicking ass.
Let me tell you right now. Let's put it this way: that video we did on Mr. Whatchamacallit getting hired, our new OC, over 500 views.
No shit. Cool, yeah, good deal.
That's our lives will get like $1.68. That one was over 500. So
good.
Take it this way. So.
Channel growth. That's what I like.
Let's put it this way: if Father Rod turned out to be a bad guy, damn. All right, so Father Ron is good.
I'm sure Father Ron is a fine, upstanding citizen. He's probably got to be in his 60s now. I don't know, maybe even his 70s.
Every time I see Larry Zatkoff, I think of Larry Zbyszko, the former wrestler, the living legend, Larry Zbyszko. So I just want to put that out there. Father
Ron Victor. Okay,
you were right.
Ron, I knew it was with a V. I thought another. I don't know. I remember another name for some reason, but yeah. All my old buddies somehow find my content on here. His eye is slipping. Okay.
Hold on. I think I got this. I think I know why he said his eye is slipping. Hold on.
Oh.
Is that Father Ron?
That's him.
Sounds like a nice guy. I didn't get to read this whole thing yet, but sounds like
St.
he's a good
Isidore.
Dude.
8 nieces and nephews.
Got his own church now. I'm not really sure where St. Isidore is, but.
Born in Detroit in 1951, the second oldest of 5 children. He attended Rose Grade in Detroit. Went to St. Isaac. I remember him. He was at St. Isaac Jogues, but 10th assignment as priest, 6th as a pastor. He began the ministry in October 2012. I don't think
a Spartan fan. That's unfortunate.
Too bad. Then he knows what it's like to lose. He's taken the vow of poverty.
I was gonna say that's an organization that I'm sorry.
Suck it, Sparty.
They might get kicked out of the Big Ten because they're so irrelevant.
Ugh. Spartans. Remember Ron D'Antonio. Mark D'Antonio, yeah. Remember your relevance for him for 5 minutes? Fuck you, Sparty. Tom Fizzo. He's a bum. You haven't won since Mateen Cleaves was on the team. Fuck you.
He was the only one that knew how to cheat and recruit because after he left, it was fucking downhill. And they were a viable threat when he was there. Granted, Michigan had no recruiting, and he had the recruiting wide open. But you can't mock D'Antonio's gangster. But then he just disappeared, and you wonder.
The team fell apart after 15. It was just not good.
And then you never seen him again.
Yeah, He gone. But
Mark Justin D'Antonio. He did not look like a Justin.
No, definitely not. Huh.
Yeah, but after that, he's out. I don't know.
Yeah, he had some good teams, man. He had some good teams back in the day. They slapped the shit out of Michigan, I'll say that much.
Oh, so he was Spartan's assistant head coach in wake of Mel Tucker. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He stayed on for a little bit, and then the Mel Tucker thing happened. And we talk shit about that, but the ex-Michigan coach is in prison now, so Sharon Moore. Oh, Lord.
Dude, they released the footage of him today. That was pretty. I
haven't seen it yet. Oh, Lord.
It's
That's pretty bad.
It's just sad. It's just a fall from grace.
It is sad. It's
just,
it's just a bad situation all around.
But he did that to himself. That's just unfortunate for his family and his kids that he's such a piece of shit. So, but yeah.
Ugh. What a fucking nutty story, man.
What a nutty story, sir.
That's putting it mildly, obviously. But oh shit. Oh,
well, what else we got going on this evening before we sign off?
Before we sign off, I got to work tomorrow, only for a few hours, but I'm gonna have to brave the cold Michigan weather. I work. My boss. I like my boss. I like my job. I don't want to say nothing. Don't be calling my boss or nothing. But he's a nutty old boomer. He don't believe in like modern technology, so he doesn't really have heat in that building. He used a bunch of space heaters, and we're freezing our balls off in there. But so tomorrow, yeah, it just literally my job is like right down the street from me. It's like it's a warehouse location right by. I don't want to say where it is, but
I'm assuming
it's in the area
to get there.
I could probably rollerblade if I had any sense of balance, but yeah. Imagine my fat ass coasting down the sidewalk, going real slow.
I would
just
love
like
to see
inching along. That would be funny. I'd probably get hit by a car, but yeah. So I'm going to work tomorrow, and then I'm probably going to drink some beer in the evening. I got nothing much going on this weekend. Probably just going to be doing some relaxing, maybe making some content, following some sports stuff, getting some sports updates, talk about the Wings. Giving you some content, Mark. I know how much you are desperate for content, so
desperate. Eat it up.
I'll be uploading some stuff for you. Big weekend for DDW. One of our poor PPV style shows is tomorrow. I can't wait. Okay, well, good for you, dude.
Go check them out, Hermdo. I've been jumping into their little their wrestling shows, and it maybe not under my real name or all my real names. I've just used all burner accounts, but. They're a fun group of guys to rile up, and it is funny. Like I will say, I had them on last weekend. I was getting some housework done, and they had their Saturday show. So I pulled it up on my phone, and I was just having a ball. Like all the guys have a great sense of humor. They're really fun. And you don't even really have to like wrestling to watch. I told them, I'm like, you're just doing your own podcast, or you guys have your own like comedy banter, but wrestling's on in the background. So you can watch Ronald McDonald fight Ren and Stimpy while you talk shit to these guys. So it's
hell
fun.
yeah.
So
that sounds like fun. Watch that, everybody. Check that out.
Yeah. Go check out the DDW. Go check their channel out. They're on Twitch. They're on YouTube. They're on TikTok. They're on a lot of the platforms. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good weekend. Pistons seem like it's still a tight game. This is going to be a tight one. I don't think our Red Wings are going to do anything drastic. I think it's just going to be a nice up and down ride before we take the All-Star break. So
there were some rumors about Elias Pettersson. I should have brought that up earlier, but Vancouver Canucks star, 100-point-a-game player. He's having a down season this season. I don't know if he's injured or what the whole story is, but they were saying they could trade maybe Nate Danielson or maybe some other guys, maybe Marco Kasper for him. I'm not sure if that's in. Stevie Y doesn't want to let go of any of his young guys. He loves his young prospects. He loves his young players. Every single guy he's drafted, he just he just keeps in the fold. He loves them so much. So I don't know if we're gonna go after a guy like Pettersson or whatnot, but that would be interesting. I don't know if we're gonna, because he has a hell of a cap hit. He has like an $11.6 million cap hit. I don't know if the Wings want to spend all their cap just on one guy. Not at this stage in the rebuild. So I'd be surprised if anything happened, but I know there's been some rumors and some speculation, but a lot of this stuff just, with Stevie plays it close to the vest, and he's not making any really crazy moves. But as the Red Wings are currently constructed, I think they're a competitive team. I don't know if this team can get too far in the playoffs, but I think they will get into the playoffs, which is what a lot of Wings fans desperately want. But it's baby steps. It's baby steps now.
Yeah, make a little noise, get in the playoffs.
Make a little noise. Graduate from being a bubble team. You were hot garbage 5 years ago. You're a bubble team now. Now graduate into a playoff team, and then we'll worry about the rest later. We'll add some pieces later. But I'd like to believe that if the Wings are in a good spot, come the trade deadline, that they might pick somebody up. Maybe they'll get like another solid defender. I know Rasmus Anderson from the Calgary Flames was kind of on the Wings' radar for a little bit. I don't remember where he went, but he's not around anymore, not available anymore. So I think maybe the Wings want to shore up the defense. I'm not sure, but maybe because if they brought in Elias Pettersson, he'd probably be the number 2 center behind Dylan Larkin, and that's been a thing. I mean, ever since Dylan Larkin got drafted, he's like, is he a true number 1 center? But I don't know. I think he's the guy for the job. But we'll see what happens with the Wings. It'll probably be a quiet deadline. I mean, I don't know unless they're like. He might bring somebody, and he probably won't be like, you won't be like banging pots and pans about it. But I think we'll get somebody decent. Like if we're in a good position, I'd like to believe so anyway. But I hope that
I'd like to believe the Pistons do something too. Speaking of that, right? So
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, right. Obviously, they made a nice, quite name for themselves last year in the playoffs against the Knicks. We handled the Knicks. We're handling Boston now. There's no fucking chance in hell we get Anthony Davis. Nobody wants his ass. But,
no. He's
I've
done.
seen Jaren Jackson Jr. I've seen.
I've heard that before too.
Trey Murphy. Is another one. So keep an eye. I think we still have the leverage because we're not desperate. And Trajan Langdon hasn't really given his revealed his cards yet and how he does things. So that's another one, right? So went from a shitbag team and the worst in the league to number 1 in the East. So it's going to be super fun to see what these two franchises do. I think it's going to be super fun to get on here when Scooble's traded to the Dodgers and we can all laugh, and I'll put my Eric Bischoff black jacket on and my NWO hat and ha 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 ha. So I think it's going to be fun though.
Yeah. Dew says one more thing. I'm hearing Wings want a top 4D at the deadline. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm not sure who's out there. I got a review. Next video I make, I'm going to do some reviewing and see who's out there they could possibly pick up. I got some rumors here and there, but nothing really solid. But I do think they want to shore up that defense. It's a little bit thin in the bottom pairings, but that's definitely something I think they want to pursue. I mean, look at a guy like Moritz Seider, like how Simone Edvinson's coming along, and we definitely need a complementary piece for those guys. But I mean, you can only ride Ben Sherratt so far. But I think defense is going to be a priority for this team. But there's lots of different aspects of it. But definitely that's going to be. So I'll be doing a Red Wings update. I'll get you something this weekend. We can talk hockey. Hopefully, we're still going to be talking about. I mean, we're going to be talking about the NFL for a couple more weeks, I figure. But as more things develop, as we'll see what happens with this Kelvin Shepherd thing. Is he going to leave for Miami? Is he going to leave for another coaching gig? Mm-hmm. Who else can the Lions pick up? There's going to be lots of free agency rumors and stuff like that. And then you got Super Bowl coming up. That's going to be fun. But we got plenty of stuff coming down the pipe as far as that stuff goes. But I'd like to incorporate some more Pistons and Wings talk. I think we've been pretty good about that last couple times. But
I think so too. I'll be doing some Pistons videos too. I did a little trade video. I'm going to try to keep up with you when you do your Red Wings. I want to do some Pistons. And then, I think both of us can do well. You do Tigers better than I do, but either way, we got a lot of stuff coming up, man. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Like, subscribe, get on there, subscribe to Hermdo's YouTube page. You want to talk about pay-per-view, you should be paying to watch this shit. It's funny, it's entertaining. It's I love getting into the comments and spamming the fuck out of it with different names to try to throw Mr. Hermdo off. I want to thank everybody. I appreciate it. Plexico Burris.
He's coming over.
Reginald Bell Johnson's butthole. He's coming over. The doctor, the Dew.
Will Father Ron come over?
Father Ron will be there. I want to shout out to Father Ron tonight.
Father Ron and his weighing eye.
You and your slipping eye. I also want to, the Skin Factory. Shout out to the Skin Factory. If you know what that means, you know what that means. And thank you for Hitch for coming on. We had him booked tonight. We ran out of time, though. We were going to have him on. He's been in the lobby for the last hour and a half. Sorry we couldn't get to you, dude. We'll get you next week. I promise. We'll let you in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm out of here. Appreciate it. Run Pride.
Yes, sir.